Now that we have successfully accomplished the concept of linear gradient, this time we will be now targeting this radial gradient. So what is the definition of radial gradient? Radial gradient is defined by its circular or elliptical shape, its central point, and two or more color stops. So we will be definitely viewing all the aspects of radial gradient in this purpose, and the first thing that we are going to do, we are going to copy this whole thing from here. But before that, as I have told you previously, that we will be working on the standard syntax only. So we won't be needing all those hack codes in this purpose, but on the other hand, I would like to remind you that all these hack codes, those are practically needed in case when you are building your own project. So definitely do not ever try to miss all those things, all those hack codes over here. And whenever you are creating your project, you will have to use this kind of hack codes. But for the time being, we are going to delete it off. We will have to discard it, and with this remaining thing, all we are going to do, first of all, we are going to copy this thing and we are going to paste it here. We are creating a new kind of container which is known as new gradient holder. So as we can see here, in the same manner, in this index.html at this extreme end, we have created this particular type of new gradient holder here. So all we are now going to do, we are going to copy this thing and we will be creating another container over here, and we will be naming it as radial gradient. And we'll be naming it as new gradient holder 1 as we have produced in our stylesheet.css. So we can see that there are two consecutive divs. Both of them are right now having the same properties here because all of them are practically copied from each other. So that is why we are now going to make some certain changes. All we now have to do, we have to change this particular linear gradient type into a radial gradient type. And in the very first case, all we are going to do, we are going to make use of two basic colors, the red one and I guess the yellow one. So now we can see that this is practically the result, as we can see that red is the first color stop and yellow is the second color stop. So that is why we can see that red is appearing at the center of this particular container and yellow is appearing in the outer part of this particular gradient. Now we have basically used two particular color stops over here, and we may define whether the shape of this particular gradient should be a circular one or a yellow one. As an example, let's put here circle. So we have put this circle, so we can see that this is practically circular in nature. But if we now provide here ellipse and reload, we will be now seeing that this particular gradient is an elliptical one. But right now, what should be the position of this particular gradient? And in this respect, all we can do, in the first case, we are providing this circle, and here we are mentioning that circle at 100%. Now if we reload, we can see that the center is now deviated from the exact middle of that particular container to the peripheral area of this particular div. So we have defined here that this circle should be formed at 100%, and this is what exactly is being done over here. In the second case, if we now mention ellipse at 100%, and if we now reload, now we can see that we have put here an ellipse That means the shape of this particular gradient will be elliptical and it will be deviating from center towards 100% of this particular container width. That means into the peripheral area. In case if we cannot understand what is going on, now let me change here this second stop from yellow, it should be turned into blue. Press Ctrl S and you can see that this will be the result. I think this is perhaps the best result that we could have seen right now. Now in case if we want to have a more exact view of this particular case, then all we need to do, we need to define another color stop here which should be green. So we have provided three color stops consecutively, the red one, the green one and the blue one, and we have defined that the shape will be ellipse in nature and the center will be deviated at the extreme peripheral area. So if we now get back to our project, we can see that this is going to be the result, and now we can see that this is a perfect ellipse as we can observe over here. Now if we change this particular valuation, this positional property from 100% to 10%, what will be the outcome? This is going to be the result. In other sense, if we now put here circle and if we reload, we can see that this will be the outcome. Again, in case if we mention that this circle should be formed at the 50% position from the central, then we can see that we will be getting the exact same thing that we will get in case if we do not mention anything at all. So if we do not mention these things over here, reload, and we can see that the exact same preview is being observed into your browser. So this is the thing, whenever you are particularly mentioning a particular shape, and if you are not mentioning anything at all about the position, then all it is going to take, it is going to place the central position at the exact middle of that particular container. Now let's talk about shifting this central position, these centers, into a particular value, such as they reside in the extreme corners or reside some point shifted from the central position of this particular container. In that case, 4 parameters are being used over here.